Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Just making a quick video on how to do an oil change on the 2020 MT10. This should be the same process from 2016 to 2021. For the newer gen, I don't know if they changed the engine drain bolt or anything like that, or the oil quantity. So let's get right into it. Things you're going to need, obviously your oil. I'm using Mobil 1 Racing 4T. Never had any issues with this oil. Use it in all my bikes, track days, no issues whatsoever. Same thing, K&N air filter. I like the K&N, always used it, never had any issues. It's got the bolt on the top of the oil filter, so it makes it getting on and off pretty easy. Yamaha gasket for the oil drain bolt. Now typically, this is my first time ordering one of these, and I've done 3 oil changes so far, so I figured it's a good time to pick up a new gasket. The manual recommends that you change it every single time, but again, this is my first time. 17,000 miles on a bike, no leaks. You will need a funnel to put in a new oil in, some shop rags. For me specifically, for the K&N, you'll need a 17mm socket. For the oil drain bolt, you will need a 6mm socket. I like to use a torque wrench to torque everything down on my bike. Gives me some peace of mind that I'm doing it right and nothing's gonna crack or break, the bolts are gonna break or anything like that. For the oil quantity, if you're doing the oil change with an oil filter, the service manual recommends you'll need 4.33 quarts of oil, which is really kind of stupid because you always have to buy 5, but you only need a few ounces of the 5th one, so you'll always have an extra one. This one I've had for a while. So with that being said, first thing to do, what you want to do is remove the oil drain plug. This will help air get into the system to make the oil flow a little easier when it's coming out. Alright, so the oil drain bolt is located right there. You can see some oil leaking a little bit. I just cracked the bolt loose with the 6mm Allen head. I also like to put some cardboard down underneath the bike. Kind of helps with any spills or anything like that. Easier cleanup. So let's get this oil drain bolt out and let the oil start flowing. There she goes. Oil's flowing. Now typically I'll let this sit for about 10 minutes. So once you get your oil drain bolt out, let that drain. Now you want to get your oil filter. Now if you're using a K&N like me, this will have a nut on it, and that's a 17mm. A little pro tip for you guys is to put some tin foil over your headers, depending on where your filter is, I guess, on your bike, but for an MT10, it's basically right over the headers. So you put some tin foil down and kind of make it like a ramp, and it kind of just drains right down the tin foil into the oil pan. I'm unfortunately out of tin foil in the household, so we're going to be cleaning the headers after. But make sure your oil pan's in a good spot. It's going to drip all over the headers and kind of run all along, so get this in a goodest position as you can. Now this shouldn't be too tight. Only calls for 12 foot-pounds in the manual, so just like that, comes off nice and easily. Again, there comes the oil all over the headers. So, and I like to wait a few minutes before I take this off, just to get as much oil out of the drain bolt as possible, to hopefully limit the oil that comes out onto the headers, but still quite a bit in there. So just set that in there, let it drain. One thing I forgot to mention, you guys, I guess it just left my brain, was typically you want to start the bike and let it run for a few minutes. 3-4 minutes is good, just to warm up the oil a little bit. It kind of thins up the oil and it makes it easier to drain. You can see that is getting all over the headers, so that should be fun to clean. But that's part of the maintenance problem. So let that drain, give it a good 10 minutes. We're going to wipe this with a shop rag after. We're going to wipe the bottom. Alright, so while you guys let the oil drain, now's a good time to just inspect your oil drain bolt. Make sure it's not stripped, no metal shavings anywhere. Wipe it down and just clean it up. Now this is the new OEM oil drain bolt crush washer. Now funny enough, this one is copper and this one looks aluminum. I'm not sure if this one is OEM or not, but this is what came on the bike since I've owned it. But there's the part number for it. Double checked online, seems to be right, so I'll keep an eye on it, make sure that nothing leaks out of there, and make sure everything is all good. Alright, so once the oil is done draining, go ahead and slide your oil pan out of the way. It might drip a little bit on the bottom, but see, right there. But no big deal. New crush washer on the drain bolt, and go ahead and wipe any remaining oil off the bottom of the bike or the drain hole. You want a nice clean mating surface between the crush washer and the bottom of the oil pan. Then go ahead and wipe your oil filter mating surface. Again, you want this nice and clean, the way it creates a good seal and no leaks. You can see there's some kind of grime. Another important step, guys, is take your oil filter, dip your finger in some oil, just a little bit, and wipe it along the edge of the oil filter. Alright, so I torqued this down, the oil filter down to 12 foot-pounds, and the oil drain bolt down to 17, or up to 17 I should say. That's per the manual, the service manual for this bike. Next step is just adding the oil. Alright guys, if you made it this far, you're basically done with the oil change. What I like to do, just wipe again, just like everything else, wipe the surface of the oil filler plug. Wipe your drain bolt, just make sure there's no debris, no metal, nothing like that. Inspect the washer, or not the washer, the I guess O-ring inside. Make sure it looks okay. Mine looks fine. This is the OEM filler cap. So, and then add your oil. Another thing I like to do is before I really even start this process, I run water through my funnel. Any dirt, debris that can get inside if the funnel's sitting. And then I just let it air dry and I wipe the inside out and blow it out with a compressor. Make sure the funnel's nice and clean. You don't want any debris or dirt going down into your engine. So let's start that process. Once you guys are done finishing adding the oil into the bike, go ahead and start the bike. Leave it on the maintenance stand or the rear stand. You want the bike on a level surface. Make sure you're not doing this in your driveway. Flat level surface. Start the bike, let it run for several minutes, and then you'll come to this window here, and you want the oil level between these two notches. If it's below, add oil. Right now you can see it's pretty full. That's because I haven't started the bike yet, so the oil has not cycled through the engine. Once you're done with that, double check everything, make sure there's no leaks, make sure your oil cartridge is on tight. After that, go enjoy your bike. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope this helped you out. Any questions, drop them down in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. Peace.